Good evening. Here is yet another splendiferous, vociferous, incongruous, ambidextrous, soliplexus, drives a Lexus, lives in Texas, show called Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col.
In stereo.
It's over the top, it's under the counter, and it's around the bend. So here it is, in all its finery and glory.
Get it right.
Glory.
Yeah,
The show will be repeated.
That'll add an extra 5 minutes to the broadcast.
And you'll be pleased to know that we're here for a little while, giving you a Beatles night in. So you can listen to about the Beatles. We're going to have a quiz about the Beatles. We're going to have features about the Beatles. And your two favourite people that I know of, Mark and Col, are here just to present it all for you.
When are they turning up? Any second now?
Any second now.
Oh, good, because stuck here with you.
Yeah, enough said. Thank you.
Okay.
So it's a live show. It was flapping about just 10 minutes ago, so we'll do our best to keep it lively all the way through. So you're very welcome to, and believe me, you are, the Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and
Col. The other way round.
Yes, here we are then with Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col. How do you very do?
Hey!
So here it all is, and here it is. Woohoo! Here's the schedule of events for this evening. We're going to have a Beatle quiz, because we're a bit random tonight. We thought we'll be a bit sort of miscellaneous.
Mysterious as well.
If you like. With that cape on, you do look it.
Cape on? They're chickens, aren't they?
No. So here we are. We're just having a quiet one in the snug at the Farmer's Armpit in downtown Liverpool, just next door to the all-night cobblers and fish bait suppliers.
All night what?
Mark and Col have rocked up here in their latest bib and tucker to present to you a wondrous episode of Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col, which includes the usual gubbins, I hope, and a chance to just pump up your synapses and test your Beatles knowledge with lots of questions and factoids that we can present to you tonight.
Aye, right, shall we start with a question?
I don't see why not. That's the idea, isn't it?
Right, shall I ask you one and see what you know?
Oh, mais oui. Or right. Voilà, which is French for ta-da.
Ta-da. Oh, I thought that was
I haven't gone yet, no.
English for goodbye. Ta-da. Right. Here's a question for you.
Go ahead, lad.
What job did Julia Lennon have? Julia Lennon being John's mother.
Okay.
Do you know?
You want to answer that one right off?
Yeah, go on then.
Julia Lennon.
Was she a butcher?
Julia, yeah, not that I know. Or no, she didn't. She didn't breed goats or anything like that. Julia Lennon was initially, or for a while, an usherette in the cinema.
Do you know which one?
I think it might have been called the Trocadero.
Ah, right.
And there's a little story behind that about a fellow who fancied her, but that's a nice old story anyway. So yeah, she used to work in a cinema. And funnily enough, the cinema she used to work in was in a place near Picton Road. And that particular building became many things after the war, and Julia Lennon stopped being an usherette. And that particular building, you'll know what I'm talking about now, it remained a cinema for a good few years, into the 50s, and then it became a supermarket.
Market, yes. Three of them.
Three of them, yeah, tied together. And it became a supermarket called Lennon's. Just by a happy coincidence.
And they've gone now, being absorbed by some other great big supermarket.
Yeah, now it's a co-op. So, the place is still there. Julia Lennon sadly isn't.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, that's the first question.
Oh, was that the question? Oh, thank you. Was I right?
You were right.
Oh,
well
right. Done. I'm glad you said
Have
so.
A smarty. I tell you what.
What?
Shall I ask you another one?
Well, okay. Well, shall I mention the features after that?
Oh, if you must,
couple of
go
features.
on. You do that first.
Well, tonight we're going to have some features about the book I've got, the Beatleplaces book itself. I thought I haven't had a glance at it in a good while. Does it need an update or whatever? But next thing you know, I was reading it for about 20 minutes ago, and I don't remember writing this, but I did.
It's got your name on the side.
I believe so. Yeah. So
that's a bit of a clue.
So we're going to talk about John Lennon's little neighbourhood of Woolton and the people who are in Woolton, spelled W-O. W-O-O-L-T-O-N. For a minute there, I thought I was an idiot.
Yeah.
W-O-O-L-T-O-N. And don't say you know.
I know what you are.
You've got a doctor's report, I know. And also we're going to look at a fella who was a very dear friend of John Lennon called Jeff Mahomed. Not much is known about the guy, but I've dug up enough to help us out tonight. So, quiz-wise and stuff-wise, what have you got, matey?
Well, I'm going to do this month in Beatle history, which this month happens to be the one between March and May, which is April.
Oh, thanks.
So
thanks
I'm
for
going to have a
reminding me.
look. Go back to, say, 1967, and the time they were recording Sgt. Pepper's. So, putting final touches to it anyway. And we'll go through a bit of what was happening in April.
Oh, tickety-boo. That'll do.
1967.
Yeah.
And I'll go through a couple of books I've got here, which is the Beatles' Diary, and also the Beatles called Long and Winding Road, History of the Beatles on Record. All interesting bits and pieces about each track. So I'll ask you another quick question now.
Yeah, you did promise
right.
me one, yeah. So this is just a teaser, isn't it?
Anybody who knows the carry-on films in this part of the world, the comedy films...
It's a British comedic tradition.
Aye.
The carry-on films.
What I would like to know, which carry-on actor is mentioned on a Beatles record?
Straight away I know that one.
Go on then.
If you don't know your cast of characters from the Carry On films, the one that always made me laugh as a kid, and not really because he was funny, was a rather odd chap called Charles Autry.
That's the man.
Charles Autry on Deaf AIDS.
That's him.
And memorably, John Lennon said that one, didn't he? I can't remember the song now.
Two of us from the album Let It Be. I Dig a Pygmy by Charles Autry on the Deaf AIDS.
Fantastic. But he was always making these mad references. Do you know, I read a thing last night. I was having a bath last night. You know, it's that time of the year. That time of the year again, isn't it? So I was having a bath last night. And I was reading the Beatles' Diaries, which is just an interesting one by Barry Miles. Really good, detailed book. Talk about detail. And Barry Miles had mentioned that when the recording of All You Need Is Love was used, they picked... I've given the question back to front now. I've ruined it. But they had a Glenn Miller track on All You Need Is Love. Can you remember what the song was? Because they used a Glenn Miller song in the middle of that mixture at the end when they had that coda to the song and they all wound the song
In the
up.
Mood, was it?
It was In the Mood, yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, what song had... In the mood in.
Yes.
And I answered it for myself. So,
you did, yeah.
Officially, I'm an idiot. It's yeah.
Well, I've signed that certificate for you.
Oh, thank you, Doctor. So...
There's another bloke mentioned in the Let It Be album as well.
Right.
One of the little things that John says at the front of a couple of songs, apart from Charles Hawtrey, he named a comedian as well.
Wasn't Freddie Frinton, was it?
No.
That's in Meet the Wife.
Well, it was. He sang.
Give us a clue.
Well, I think he was a comedian anyway. I'll have to do a bit more digging. From the album Let It Be, it is on the track called Dig It. When he talks like that. Georgie Wood.
Yeah, Georgie Wood. He was a comedian. Little performing vaudevillian.
Didn't he have great big shoes as well?
That was Titch.
That was Titch, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I'm getting mixed up.
A comedian called Titch who could lean on his shoes and do, I don't know, go backwards.
Lean right forward and touch his nose on
and he was only a wee guy.
Anyway, it wasn't him.
No,
it was Georgie Wood.
Georgie Wood.
Can You Dig It by Georgie Wood. And I would like to do Hark the Angels Come.
But really good, isn't it? It's really good talking about this stuff. So that's what Beatleplaces is all about, folks. But we'll be mentioning what Beatleplaces I've looked up as soon as we've done a little bit more. So what should we do first, matey?
Ooh. What does it say in the diary there?
It says buy a new diary. Oh, that's the end of it. Sorry.
1963 diary.
Oh no, I know what I was going to do the following. Little feature.
Oh, aye. Oh, what's coming out the big bag now?
A big bag, little book.
I'll be ready, children.
It's from. This is from a book I've mentioned before in the book reviews. John Harris, and it's called
Hail, hail, rock and roll.
Hail, hail, rock and roll. And we've got the book at hand, a bit warped because it's one of those bath reads of mine. So
It's wonder it's not 10 foot thick, that book now with all the pages that are swollen.
doubles as a pillow if I feel a bit drowsy in the bath. And quite a lot on the Beatles in Hamburg in this book, and he knows a lot of stuff. Don't care what anyone says, he knows a lot of stuff about what I never knew about the Beatles, so especially in Hamburg. But a little feature here called The House That Fabs Built. Mark won't know most of this, so I'll test him.
Go on.
We're looking at the address in London where the Beatles set up Apple HQ. Apple Core, Apple HQ. And they bought a building. Number 3, Savile Row in W1.
Correct.
And that's where the Beatles empire carried on from about 1968-ish onwards. So it's a big old Georgian building, gorgeous looking thing. And I'm going to mention what was in the building by floors.
Oh.
And I want Mark to guess what is in each floor.
Right.
So if people know what I'm talking about, you can picture the building, because on top of the building
Was a roof.
it was a roof. Now, something happened on that roof. Thanks for the bleeding obvious. Okay, the basement.
Aye.
The
That's at the
basement
bottom.
of 3 Savile Row, London,
Right.
contained what, Mark?
A recording studio
Yes, it did.
with Magic Alex
Yeah.
making a right of everything.
Pig's ear.
A pig's ear, yeah, so it's cleaner version
And
of
you
what I was
cleaned it
going
up,
to say.
yeah. So, it was Apple Studios. Officially, it was originally envisaged as a sci-fi recording facility designed by the famous Magic Alex. He never quite got his act together there.
I don't think he could join two wires together, really.
A lot of light bulbs never got replaced in that building, I'm telling you.
He designed a mixing desk for them for the Let It Be
I
album.
think it was ambitious, like 64 track, was it, or something
There's
crazy?
a load of rubbish.
Well, he's been replaced by mobile phones now, so we don't
Yeah.
need him. But I didn't know what happened to Magic Alex after he left the Beatles, but obviously he must have gone back to Greece and other musicals.
What was his second name?
Madras.
Madras.
Mardas.
Mardas. No, Madras is a curry.
Madras, and then maybe I'm hungry. So the band worked in Apple Studios late 69, early 69, and during all the Let It Be sessions. So they must have put some stuff there. They also used a little studio called Trident Studios, where they recorded the odd thing, and Delane Lee, which is another strange one.
Yeah. Funnily, that Delane Lee appeared in my head 3 or 4 days ago for some strange
It's for
reason.
dubbing, yeah, it was-
I thought, why has that appeared in my head? Anyway, go on.
That's to do with age, mostly.
It is, probably, yeah.
It says on the notes from John Harris in the book, it says it was a 78-track studio intentionally. And most of the wire was ripped out anyway, because the Rolling Stones rehearsed in there, if you didn't know that. We're getting to the ground floor. We'll just do a floor or so at a time. So on the ground floor, where you can go in through the front door, what do you think was there? What would you suspect be on the ground floor?
I'd say reception, a desk where somebody sat and so, yes, can I help you?
Yeah, and I'd have gladly done that job for free if I could have worked there, but I didn't. I was too young, and it was too soon. But it was the ground floor. It was like where Apple Records sort of was as a business.
I think the house hippie, Richard DeLello, he used to sit on cross-legged on top of the filing cabinet, if I remember rightly.
This hasn't got it in me notes, but I'll take your word for it. That's also the same floor that Bag Productions was. And Bag Productions was a real company owned by John and Yoko, even though they mentioned it in... which song I've forgotten now. He Bag Production, I can't remember. He
Come Together.
One, yeah,
Come Together.
Thanks, mate. So, it was usually the sort of office stuff was on the floor, and it's where most of it was casually thieved as well, when the place was ransacked by everybody in later time, when Apple kind of wound up post Klein, I think. Typewriters, stereos, the post arrived there, it was open there, and all the female Beatles disciples, the Apple Scruffs, they hung around there, and that's where George came up with the Apple Scruffs song.
Aye.
On the first floor, or the first floor if you're Dutch, was the Holy of Holies. What do you think that was?
The toilet. No.
No. Well, I gather the way
Derek Taylor's office.
Facilities. No, it's where the office where all the 4 Beatles were.
Ah, right.
And it also says, plus Neil Aspinall, he was there, and it was completely decorated on their behalf on account of their typically fabbish capriciousness. They kept changing the decoration in the place. Peter Brown, one of the managers, co-managers under Epstein, he was there, and he sort of managed things. So whenever you see pictures of the Beatles sort of sat around a big table, it was on the first floor, 3 Savile Row, London. On the second floor, we had the A&R team for Apple, and they organised most things. Alan Klein had a lot to do with that floor. He was usually making managerial sort of dealings and shenanigans up there. And that's mostly where they had their arguments about Apple. On the second floor of the Apple floor was the Apple press office. Now, I would have expected it on the ground floor, but that's where Derek Taylor used to hold court. Yeah, and we'll talk about Derek Taylor later, because we're going to have a little quick talk about 6 degrees of separation. Who we know with a Beatle connection, even if it's a very strained one.
Tenuous.
Yeah, tenuous and then some. And also it had the nearby what they call Black Room, a strange cupboard stuffed with demos, inventions, manuscripts sent in response to the Beatles' initial claims of send us your stuff, like Britain's Got Talent show.
We'll promote you and stuff like that. All get shoved in a cupboard and forgotten about.
It was practically,
lovely.
We're getting near the top now, mate. We're getting to the upper room where
vertigo now.
The windows are. It's like a dormer sort of windows at the top.
Aye.
And this is where Apple films were. And actually a few films were made. Not many, all little independent thingies. But they had Born to Boogie with T-Rex. Ringo Starr directed that one. And also they had a kitchen up there. For some reason, the kitchen was on the very top floor. And it was open all hours, and people just went up there and just did what they felt like. So obviously you could stop off there, and if you wanted to, they had caviar constantly on available.
I know they had toast quite a bit, didn't they?
Well, who wouldn't?
There's a lot of toast.
I love toast. So we've reached the top almost, because on the top of the Apple HQ was what? You said it before?
Well, it was the roof, wasn't it? Where they... Where they played.
The last live performance, indeed, on the 30th of January 1969. Cut short by the police, but I think that in a way that I read it, that I interpret it, it was intended. Or it was promoted, get the coppers up here, give a bit of drama to it. So pretty thrilling, and part of the Let It Be film as well, as we know.
Yep.
So there we are, a little review and a little sort of estate agent's version of 3 Savile Row HQ, where the Beatles were when they ran Apple.
One of these days, when I go down to London again, I'll have to go and visit there, because the hundreds of times I've been down there, I've never visited Savile Row.
Oh, right. I don't...
Even when I had my suit fitted. Not...
I'm not surprised by that, but one day, like Liverpool's different though. I think in Liverpool terms, we can do a grand tour in a very confined space, because there's so many things just within reach.
Just around the corner from each other.
Yeah, everything's so close in Liverpool. You get to London, it's a bit more... spaced away.
Spread out a bit more.
Spread out is an understatement, but it's London, isn't it? So there you go, little feature. Don't like it.
Right. Can I ask you another question?
You just did.
Right. Oh, well done.
Ask me another.
You got the answer right there, then. Which is the longest single released by the Beatles, and how long is it?
Single, and we're not talking like weird stuff.
No, the genuine proper single.
Yeah, you would say, and you tempted me to say, Hey Jude, so I'll say, Hey Jude.
Say it then.
Hey Jude.
Well done, correct. Do you know how long it is?
6 minutes, 32 seconds.
No.
78 hours and 4 minutes.
Getting closer. 7 minutes and 15 seconds.
Wow, what a thing.
And do you know how long the fade out is as well?
Oh, now, famously.
Because it fades out.
It was a very long fade out.
Yeah.
I heard that as a kid when it came out. And we were stood in the hall going, this is going on a bit. Because it was just been bought from the shop, and my neighbour Eileen, she bought it, put it on, And I went, yeah, okay, I've got it, but, you know, it's taken a while to get to the end.
Disappearing.
I would say half the record's about 3 minutes.
Well, it's 4 minutes, actually. 4-minute fade out.
Wow.
The longest, one of the longest fade outs ever recorded, 4 minutes long.
Good grief. You see, Carnival of Light, the McCartney one that he did for a 60s rave thing.
Yeah.
That's a famously long one, 17-something minutes, but it's not a commercially available record. It's never been heard by a lot of people. Some people say they've heard it, but I doubt that.
I haven't. Have you?
Last time I looked?
Nope.
Nope.
Oh, well.
So where are we with that? Is that another question? That was an interesting
That was it. That was it for that little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you, Mark. Thank you, me. And there we are, another Beatleplaces podcast.
Who do you think you are?
With a little feature. So don't forget, we're always here in case you need us. And this is us on a regular basis doing little bits and pieces about Beatle stories, Beatle facts, Beatle questions, just to keep you entertained. And just to keep you entertained in as best a way as possible. I'm going to do another little feature now, if Mark hasn't got another quiz.
No, I don't think so.
Sure.
Not at the moment.
In a minute, we'll have this month in Beatle history.
Right.
But I'm going to do a little thing I promised I'd do, if I could spell it right. It was a little thing about Woolton, where John Lennon came from, the little village in South Liverpool where John was raised as a kid. He was brought up as a little baby in a place called Wavertree. And, that, of course, that was South Liverpool anyway. But as it goes, he went even further south with his Aunt Mimi and his Uncle George, and he went to live in a lovely village. But I would say the word is sedate. I think when you go there, you go, oh, that's nice here, isn't it? So I've always liked Woolton. It reminds me of a place on the Wirral called Oxton. And it's all to do with the sandstone, I reckon.
I was just going to say a lot of sandstone buildings in Woolton.
It's the quarries and stuff that, quarrymen, it all relates, doesn't it? And lo and behold, those sort of sandstone buildings, sandstone walls, everything about Woolton is famously to do with that fact. Okay. I did a little bit digging around the people around Woolton that John Lennon knew as a kid, and I thought I'd mention for a second or two, if that's okay with Mark and you lot out there.
Super. Off you go.
Okay.
Knock yourself out, mate.
So, Woolton, a parish, formerly known as Much Woolton, as in much ado about nothing.
Aye.
Much Woolton was the old name for Woolton. And it sort of developed a wee bit, and the thing you'll be struck by if you ever come to Liverpool and you see John Lennon's house is, if you aim for the house, you have to go down a very main road. I've forgotten the name of the road now. It's Menlove. It's Menlove, isn't it? Menlove Avenue. I was going to say the A382 or something like that.
Oh, no, that's not it. No.
So, so John Lennon's house, well, the house he lived in with his auntie was on Menlove Avenue, 251 Menlove Avenue. And in the distance of the house is a great big ugly block of flats, on the corner where Vale Road meets.
I know.
Yeah. That's the only not nice thing about Woolton there, that big horrible bloody
stuck on the corner.
Anyway, that aside, that's been there for the longest time as well, so maybe John saw that, I'm not sure. But in the midst of Woolton is typical village material, little shops and a couple of churches. And the church that John Lennon went to as a little boy, as a naughty teenager, was this one, St. Peter's Church. And like many parish churches, John's local church published a Woolton Parish magazine. I've seen this because I went to the library and looked it up. It was like a highlighted events and activities for the local congregation. And you could see it was kind of a posh little village by the virtue of what was said in the little magazines. It mentioned all the festivals and rummage sales and jumble sales and music recitals and things they would have, like what trips were going on with the brownie packs. And John Lennon lived in Woolton from 1945 until about 1963. And as a young boy, he attended the Sunday school in St. Peter's Church. And of course, he was famously at their annual garden fete in 1957 when the Quarrymen played their thing, got noticed by Paul McCartney, and so it went. But John was very much part of that congregation, part very much of that church gang, because he sang in the choir. And there was a guy in that who ran the choir, and his name was Humphreys, strangely spelt, but I'll pronounce it Humphreys. And he was the guy who taught John to sing. What I can say is, I don't know much about him since he left the neighbourhood, but he was the guy in charge of the choir and in charge of the Sunday school crowd, and that included Pete Shotton and I think another lad called Shaw, I think his name was. But John Lennon definitely got his little singing lessons from this fella who taught him all about that. The Sunday school itself was kind of a big deal because in the working week there would be all kinds of things. Puppet shows would be on, movie films were shown, and they would have the usual sort of school trips, day trips for the kids to entertain them, I suppose. And one of the ladies who ran the Sunday school was a lady called Betsy Richardson, and she was called Big Betty. Everybody called her Big Betty, and I wonder why. But apart from that, all the usual crowd were going to Woolton, and they made up that crowd anyway. There was various shops in the neighbourhood where people ran shops, but John Lennon, as far as we knew, robbed a fair bit from these shops. He robbed toys and you name it. But God love him, he couldn't help it. he was like just William in real life. He just had this sort of way about him with his gang of mates, and he just ran riot through this quiet little village. I was looking up that thing about Eric Humphreys, the choir master. He was an organist, and he played at St. Peter's for about 20 years, and he taught quite a lot of lads in the neighbourhood to sing. So a little feature there. I won't go into much more detail than that. The people and the people of Woolton, John Lennon's neighbourhood.
Ah, very good. Well done.
Thank you.
Super duper.
It's the Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col. We haven't planned the show, so nothing can go wrong.
Right, should I do this month in Beatle history?
It's recommended.
A bit of March and a bit of April. So I'll do that if that's all right with you.
It's all right with me.
Right, in March 1967, they just about got to the end of recording Sgt. Pepper, and on April the 1st, they did the reprise bit of it, recorded all in one session and stuff like that. And they then decided they got Peter Blake to do the cover for it. And they had heroes, that's what they... the original sort of picture on the front.
Oh, I see.
That's how
like a theme.
A theme. And they got Robert Fraser and Peter Blake and got as many people as they could think of to go on the front, pictures, photographs, cutouts instead of using real people, and a floral clock as well.
Oh yeah, like we're used to around this neck of the woods, aren't we? So
and the Paul half designed the sleeve, and he had Brigitte Bardot on it as well. Because he quite fancied her, and she was 6 times bigger than anybody else on the thing. Can you remember any of the names of the people on the album cover, apart from John Paul?
Well,
George
I know. Apart from them, no, the Beatles are on it twice. Because there's them in real life, and then there's the mannequins, dummies.
Waxworks,
which is round the corner from the Waxworks.
Yes.
There was them. There was Diana Dawes, Stan Laurel, Oliver Hardy.
Yeah.
Hitler was proposed, but he wasn't there. Muhammad Ali.
Yep.
We had Stu Sutcliffe's in there.
Yep.
We had
Max Miller, the comedian.
Yeah, he was with little white hat.
Tom Mix, the cowboy.
We had Welcome to Rolling Stones, the dummy on the chair. We had
there was Aubrey Beardsley.
Sonny Liston
as well. Yep. 5 gurus, 2 anonymous women as well. Drawings of 3 girls, which whatever they were. Sonny Liston, as you said. Tommy Handley, who's a British comedian.
Oh yeah.
Marilyn Monroe, Dr. Livingstone, H.G. Wells, Einstein, Marlene Dietrich, Lawrence of Arabia. I remember him. Diana Dawes, Shirley Temple.
Tony Curtis.
George Bernard Shaw. Albert Stubbins, the footballer.
Oh, yeah, he's a Geordie, yeah.
Karl Marx, the well-known...
Man with the beard.
Who else? Stockhausen, the composer.
Oh, yeah, that's an
W.C.
interesting
Field.
choice. Yeah.
Dion as well. Dion DiMucci.
Oh, yeah, the Wanderer.
Yeah. Edgar Allan Poe.
It goes on, doesn't it?
It goes on and on and on. So
I know the only fact I know about that is they sought permission from everybody as best they could, living and dead.
Yeah.
Somehow or other, they wrote to the estates of the people who had passed away.
yeah, you mentioned Hitler. He was on it. Actually.
Yeah.
He is there.
Yeah, but it's strange, you know. The only other mad fact I know about that is John's wearing some medals on his outfit, silky uniform,
Yeah.
and they were borrowed from Mona Best, Pete Best's mum, because they were her dad's medals.
Right.
And Mona Best lived in India, brought up there for a very long time, and her dad was given these awarded medals in India. So for some reason, for the cheek of the man, it's one thing, and the other fact is he got to wear them. So Pete Best gets a kind of a semi-mention on Sgt. Pepper.
Yeah. And on April the 3rd, in 1967, Paul flew to Los Angeles with Mal Evans and was going to take a photograph of the cover of Sgt. Pepper's with him to show his girlfriend then, Jane Asher. But he forgot to take it. When he met up with her in Denver, he was going to take it and he forgot all about it. And also, another thing he forgot was to get his American visa renewed because it had expired. And they managed to get it sorted out within 30 minutes. Very good. So they hired a private Learjet from Frank Sinatra and took them to San Francisco, where they had San Francisco had its first snow in 42 years and was absolutely freezing cold. They did the sights, took a photograph of the Golden Gate Bridge, and then met up with Jefferson Airplane and did some jamming with them when they were rehearsing. And travelled here and there around Denver and stuff like
semi-incognito,
that.
really, because unless you're with the other three, you don't get noticed as much. I think Paul did that when he went to France with Mal or Neil, one of them. And he forgot his passport there as well.
Yeah.
Clever. He's a right clever Trevor, old Paul McCartney.
And in April the 9th, Paul and Mal Evans went to the Red Rock Stadium, where they had a concert 3 years before. They went to have a look at that, signed some autographs, got on the Learjet again, and went back to Los Angeles, and then went to visit the Mamas and the Papas. So they've been here, there and everywhere. Then they went to see the Beach Boys. Who else did they go and see?
Touching base with everybody.
And they went to see Brian Wilson, where he was doing the track Vegetables on the Pet Sounds album, which is one of the Beatles' favourite Beach Boys albums.
Yeah,
which,
I was reading about that yesterday.
They
I was knocked
a lot.
out by that. He said that was the standard they had to meet as a sort of counterpart to the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was what happened in April 1967.
Thank you.
There you go. That would be £5, please.
That's it. Yes. Mark, as ever.
I think you.
Yeah. Dickie Longpocket strikes again.
Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col. Serious Radio.
Okay, everybody, you're listening to the groovy sound of Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark
And Col.
and there's a drum roll for nothing.
Not a very good one.
I thought Mark threw a few poses at me. I'll give Mark a question or two,
Right.
and let's see if he knows the answers to these. Just here and now. 3 questions. Just say when, and I'll stop me pages of my little quiz book.
When?
Okay.
Right.
Things about the Beatles and the Magical Mystery Tour.
Oh, right, okay.
Right.
I'm all ears.
Question. Well, I hope so. Yes. Which song? Question 1. What song did the Beatles dance to in the Magical Mystery Tour?
What did they dance to?
Yeah. Can you picture them doing
I
it?
can, going down the stairs.
In white.
Yes. Your mother should know.
Your mother should know is right. Which Beatle brother came along on the Magical Mystery Tour?
That would be Michael McCartney.
Yeah, Peter Michael McCartney. It
Yeah,
was
yes,
indeed.
actually, yes, because Michael McCartney
It's
is Paul.
Macca is James Paul McCartney.
James.
And Peter Michael was his brother, who commonly known as...
Who's Doris, though? That's confused me. Yeah, they changed their names. Both of them changed their names back to front, didn't they?
They did, and it was pretty common. I know a few people from school like that. I always knew them by their middle names. All right, question 3, finally. Which movie idea preceded Magical Mystery Tour but failed to happen?
Oh.
Just before. And a few legal things happened, but it didn't happen.
I give in. I don't know.
You'd be interested to know. It's got a connection with the last movie that we've seen to do with the Beatles.
It's going to be a live concert, was it?
No. Who was involved with the last Beatles movie? Involved? Yeah. What was the last movie you've known of that the Beatles had out there?
Right, that was Let It Be.
Who kind of repurposed it, reduxed it, redid it?
Oh, Phil Spector?
Not the music
not
of,
the music.
the movie of.
It'll be the bloke I can't remember his name.
That's right, the bloke I can't remember his name, that well-known show of people with amnesia. That's the guy,
that's him,
Peter
yes.
Jackson.
That's the fella.
Peter Jackson, who made a lot of movies all about...
the Jacksons. No, go on, fill
Lord
me
of the
in.
Rings.
Yeah,
And
did.
the Beatles, they obtained the rights to Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I remember now. It's all coming back to me.
It didn't kind of happen.
No.
I think John was going to play Gollum, or it could have been Ringo. He's more of a Gollum-ish sort of type of person, isn't he? So, yeah, that was the story behind the story. And it never happened. But they had the rights. They were looking into it seriously. Who knew? But Magical Mystery Tour, Lord of the Rings, I reckon one of them would have done better. But we won't say which because we're nice people.
We are.
Okay, little feature, smallish feature. You may not have known about this, but I'll read it out. It's called The Last Will and Testament of Brian Epstein. Now, I found this out, and I can't remember where I found it out, but I've written it all out, and here it is. At age 21, Brian Epstein wrote his last will and testament. It was dated 21st of February 1954, and it was handwritten. He bequeathed his whole estate there and then, it wouldn't have been much more than his business, to his dearly beloved family, but he reserved some items to what they call, in quotes, a dear and great friend. Now, you may not have heard of this dear and great friend. It was a fellow called Brendan Gary. And these were a collection of all his music records, theatre programmes, artistic possessions, but nothing's ever been written in Beatle books about Brendan Gary. That I know of, and when I dug up some information through him, like through the likes of Heritage and Ancestry UK and things like that, found out this Brendan Gary was born in Liverpool, 1934. So there's a little bit of a time when they were both around, and he lived in Egbert, in a place called Mines Avenue. Any familiar to you?
No.
Oh, okay. No. Well, I gather Egbert posh.
Yes.
Yeah, and where this was
Poshish.
is posh.
Yes.
And this fella Brendan lived there till 1958, and then his father was a doctor, and Brendan himself gained a law degree from Liverpool University, and from there he moved down south in 1959 to become a solicitor, working as a partner for Witham Weld. Witham Weld. That's the law firm that represents, guess who?
Don't know.
The Queen.
Oh,
It was the Queen. God,
well, blow me down.
So he was a lawyer for the Queen. He said in a high pitched voice. The contents of I should wear more slack, shouldn't I?
Stand up and sit down again.
Don't wear trunks. The contents of Brian's will suggest that Brendan too was a theatre flan, and possibly flan. Yes. We're not doing too well on
Very
the old
quiche.
speaking front, are we? So possibly a theatre fan like Brian was, and they were mates that way round. All to do with the sort of Basnet Square sort of types of people he was hanging around with. And with his legal expertise, it seems to me, you tell me otherwise, Mark, but it's surprising Brian never kind of used him in a legal capacity when he got sort of Beatle affairs in order. So it's really struck me as odd. And Brendan was still around in 2009, to my knowledge. Now, I did speak to Mark Lewison about this, and he said, yeah, I've heard of this Brendan Gary guy, and like me, he couldn't get anywhere. He wouldn't speak to him, wouldn't email him back, wouldn't write him letters, wouldn't answer questions. So I gather that's it. That's as much as we're all going to know about this person who was going to be bequeathed some of his worldly goods. A fellow called Brendan Gary.
Presumably he got them when Brian Epstein died.
You mentioned 1967. There he was, 1967. Brian Epstein died. And I gather this Brendan Gary got those possessions. No more is known. No more is known.
Well, there we go. And we're back. Whoa, just like that. Where did we go?
I think I didn't go anywhere. I just stayed where I am.
Can I ask you another question?
Yeah, that's the idea.
Who was it that officially previewed the album Sgt. Pepper on BBC Radio? So first time it was ever played.
We're talking about 1967 again.
We are, yes.
And if that's the case, we're talking somebody who would have been part of the pirate radio crowd. Am I right so far?
You are, yeah.
And they would have been one of those hip DJ kind of guys. I think it's Kenny Everett.
It is, correct. Well done.
It's Kenny Everett.
Kenny Everett.
I couldn't guess anyone else.
He officially previewed the programme, the BBC Light programme, as it was then.
Can you imagine?
On the show Where It's At. But he was unable to play the final track because the BBC had banned A Day in the Life because of its drug references. And they couldn't play it. So nearly all played, but not quite. So it was Kenny Everett. Well done.
And we like Kenny Everett.
We do.
He was a local lad, Liverpool born in Seaforth, that I remember. And he went and did his thing, and he became very famous. He helped. He did a lot with Queen as well. Kenny Everett. He promoted Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody. The first time round, and that's famously in their movie. But Kenny Everett, he did some crazy old stuff. And also, what did he help with the Beatles? He did the Christmas records, didn't he?
He did, yes. He recorded all those and edited them and stuff like that. He went on with them to America when they first
I forgot about
went to America on the plane. And was blown away by it all because he couldn't believe where he was because they liked his sense of humour, fan of the Goons and stuff like that. And he was just dragged in and off he went there.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't a sycophant either. He was just one of those people who sort of, was as crazy as them and as talented as them in his way. His radio stuff is quite ambitious radio work when you consider he just had less than we've got in front of us tonight. He put all this stuff together and he mixed classical music with pop music, and then he speeded records up and he slowed records down. He was an experimenter on the radio, much like George Martin was an experimenter in the studio. Well, thank you.
Aye. And we mentioned just before about Delaney Studios, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And the Beatles recorded It's All Too Much at Delaney Studios.
Did they now?
On May the 25th, 1967. And that was the same day that John took delivery of his Rolls-Royce painted
the gypsy painted
psychedelic fairground patterns.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know who launched a formal objection to that? The way it was
the way it was painted. I gather.
It's a bit obvious, really, when you think of it.
The Queen again?
No, Rolls-Royce themselves. They didn't want the posh cars painted looking like that.
Well, it kind of knocked their brand a bit, didn't it? Because their brand stood for something, and it was to do with prestige and not craziness. He could afford a Rolls Royce and he didn't care really.
No, I do what I like with it. It's my car. I bought it, paid the money. I'm going to paint it whatever I like.
Yeah,
and he did.
Yeah, and we know there is still that one that drives around Liverpool now, where if people pay enough, and it's a jolly day out, you can be driven around in a psychedelic Rolls Royce, much akin to John Lennon's one.
Aye.
And it's usually parked up by Matthew Street that I remember, because that's where most of the Beatle fans hang around. So, in case you need to know.
This is the Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col. Please keep your hands inside the vehicle at all times.
It's Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col. How do you do? And here we are with all the usual stuff on a typical night, but we're enjoying ourselves. That's the very main thing. And we're
Just
sorry.
missing a biscuit. That's
We're
all.
sorry for the inconvenience, but we're actually enjoying ourselves. And here we are. Here's a little feature. Mark might like this. One of the many people concentrating on John Lennon, mostly myself tonight. I don't know why, but it just seems.
Sorry,
to,
madam.
It just seems to be how it just turns up. So we've talked about John Lennon's neighbourhood of Woolton a little bit, and we're going to talk about one of John Lennon's early mates who has never really had any limelight, never had a chance to be noticed, or not much is known of him. And I'll tell you what I know about him anyway. It's a fella John met in our college who was a little older than him, and he went by the name of Jeff Mahomed. And he came from a place called Withington in Manchester. And I'll tell you a little bit more about him. His real full name is Russell Jeffrey Mahomed, and he was born in Rusholme in South Manchester. His mother, funnily enough and strangely enough, was Italian, and her name was Eva Marietta Penesi. I've always seen it in loads of books, and they call it Benetti and Benetti and Benotti, and they've never looked it up right. I've looked it up right. I'm right. They're wrong.
Are you sure now?
The last time I looked, yes. And she was born in 1900 in Tunis in North Africa. So
Good heavens.
Jeff Mahomed is
She must be getting on a bit now.
No, she's moved on since then. She's definitely in a nursing home by last account. And she came to the UK as an orphan, God bless her, aged 10, with a little sister called Agatha. And they stayed in a orphanage in a place called Frodsham, which is near Warrington. The maiden name of Benici is incorrect transposition of her true name. And when she gave birth to Russell, the fact was she was married to a fellow called Siddiq Mahomed. And Siddiq Mahomed, he was a fellow from Manchester, and he ran a little shop called Sadhani, which means moon, and based in George Street in Manchester. And they resided in Manchester, lived in Manchester. Jeff was raised in Manchester, and his father was therefore an Indian, raised in Didsbury, with an Italian mother who really came from South Africa, North Africa. So it's all a bit mad. His father, of course, was raised in Manchester, brought him up there. And Eva, his mum, probably remarried after his father died in 1960. Jeff did his national service before he went to our college, and he was a military policeman in Malaya. Now, that's even stranger still that he would go, I'm sick of being a policeman, I'm going to be in our college. But off he went. He joined Liverpool College of Art in 1958. But in terms of difference, he really was a different person to John Lennon. And yet they were mates, they were close mates. Now, typically, people who are mates tend to be 1 or 2 years apart from each other because they're schoolmates, typically. Jeff Mahomed was 7 years older than John Lennon. And they met at our college and became great mates, drinking mates mostly. And they had a raucous old time. And it's seemingly, and it's been said by a few people, that they were seemingly closer than John was to Stuart Sutcliffe. But I think that changed over a little bit of time. He was pretty much a character all on his own. And he liked jazz music, didn't like rock and roll so much. And yet, big influence on John Lennon. And even despite the age difference, they seem to get on and have a lot of drunken escapades, even though they didn't kind of compare musically and whatever else. But the thing that was significant about Jeff Mahomed was he was a bit of a lout, really. He didn't sort of live anywhere wonderful when he was a student. He lived in a grotty old basement flat somewhere in part of Abercrombie. the area of Abercrombie, and yet he was a guy who got things started. He even encouraged John to go out with Cynthia Powell at a Christmas party, and yet Jeff Mahomed, who had all the potential to go and do something with his life, he got kicked out. He was expelled at one Christmas time. And he didn't make any notable appearances except one more time when he appeared as the best man for another of our college mates' wedding, Tony Carricker, 1961. And after that, he doesn't appear on the radar because he never kept in touch, even though he clearly knew John Lennon himself and John Lennon knew of him and whatnot. Maybe inquiries were made. I'm not sure. But the last thing I found out about Jeff Mahomed was he passed away relatively young, 1974, aged 41. He never pursued like a career in art. He became what's called a heart therapist, and he worked either self-employed or he had something to do with the Heart Hospital up in Manchester, and something to do with cardiac therapy by any stretch of the imagination. But a bit of a change in careers in terms of he was a military policeman, went to our college, didn't become an art teacher. He became a heart therapist, and he died, ironically, of a heart attack.
So he didn't want to get involved really with the
No,
Beatles stuff.
He's a bit of a
It
solitary guy.
just wasn't for him, I suppose.
No, and I found his gravestone up in Manchester. It's in a place called Southern Cemetery, and he's surrounded by his family as it goes. It took ages to find it, but he was survived by a half brother, and his half brother was called Roy Talbot. But there's not much more I can tell you more about dear old Jeff Mahomed. In terms of, one, he's a very misspelt name.
Yeah.
Two, people don't get his mother's name right. And three, he might have made a big difference to John Lennon if he'd survived a bit longer. So there you go, a little story about Jeff Mahomed.
Well, I never.
Play us backwards and we still don't make any sense. Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col.
And breathe. Right, and we're back again.
Do you know whenever I'm feeling blue, Mark,
Yes.
I always breathe.
That's a song.
I always breathe, it helps.
Yes. And then the blue goes away.
The blue goes away. Okay.
Can I tell you a little story about the song Michelle?
Oh, yeah, I'm curious.
And,
you know me.
And who wrote it and who played it and what happened to the song itself.
Yeah, you can test me or you can tell me. Either
It
way.
was written mainly by Paul, but John helped with the bridge bit in the middle of it. Paul sings lead with John and George supplying the harmony. It's on the album. Go on.
Revolver.
It is. Yes. No, it isn't. Rubber Soul.
I told you, it was Rubber Soul. Will you listen to me?
Yeah. By January the 8th, 1966, a month after the release of the album, there were 20 cover versions of Michelle. The song is the second most covered song written by the Beatles, with over 620 versions recorded by 1975. So that was quite a while ago, 1975.
Well, we can always say yesterday's like the most covered song.
There's probably over 1,000.
And I've never thought about the second best.
Yeah, Michelle. The first cover versions of Michelle were by the Overlanders and David and Jonathan. The Overlanders was their only British hit for them, but David and Jonathan, their version of it entered the top 30 on January the 19th at number 15 and rose to number 9 in the charts. But then David and Jonathan kept their name for a little bit, and they wrote Lovers of the World Unite, if you remember that one, David and Jonathan.
It's kind of
Yeah, Lovers of the World Unite. And that reached number 7, a bit higher than Michelle. But after that, David and Jonathan, they changed their name to the original, what they were originally called, which was Roger Cook and Roger Greenaway.
Oh, wow.
And they wrote lots and lots and lots of hits.
They did.
Formed a group called Blue Mink, which Roger Cook sang in. They also wrote Good Morning Freedom with Albert Hammond and Mike Hazelwood. They wrote Bannerman, Stay With Me, Randy with Herbie Flowers, and Melting Pot. You've Got Your Troubles with the Fortunes. Freedom Come, Freedom Go. For Cilla Black, they wrote Conversations, Something Tells Me.
These are great songs, by the way.
Andy Williams, Home Loving Man.
Oh, really?
Whistling Jack Smith, I Was Kaiser Bill's Batman.
They
wrote
didn't.
that.
Really?
They wrote The Drifters, Like Sister, Like Brother. White Plains, My Baby Loves Lovin'. The Fantastics, Something Old, Something New. And Cliff Richard, Sunny Honey Girl. And for the Family Dog, A Way of Life. So they started off singing a Beatles song.
Yeah, it's just a cover band.
Got them going, and then voomf, off they went.
Well, those names are songwriters that I know of.
Yeah,
I
Roger
never
Cook,
put
Roger
the groups
Greenaway.
to the names.
Otherwise known as David and Jonathan.
Yeah.
So all that stemmed from Michelle. 2 minutes 40 seconds, the second most covered Beatles song. There you go. From the album Rubber Soul.
And I like the fact they just went off on a tangent there, so I'd never have guessed any of that. All I do know is Ivan Vaughan's wife helped write the French lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
So there's the connection there.
She was a French teacher.
She taught France, and she got a little payment for it.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder how much that was.
17 and 6.
Oh, now you do know your stuff.
No idea. Very sorry. Don't quote me on that.
Well, thank you very much.
Coming to a pair of ears near you every now and then, it's the Beatleplaces Podcast.
Hi everyone, Beatleplaces Podcast here once again, another episode. Oh dear, you might say. Oh well, we say. Just a little feature because we're not going to read anything off for 2 or 3 minutes. We're going to talk about degrees of separation. You know this story you can have, go, oh, I'm related to so-and-so, but it's 6 degrees away from each other. And famous people do this in terms of being connected with somebody else. I was thinking out loud the other day while I was in the bath, funnily enough.
I wondered what the noise was.
Yeah. What do we know, you and I?
Aye.
How much Beatle stuff do we come across in our living lives? You know, what have we come across ever?
Discovered that other people that don't
For
know
instance, you've met Pete Best.
I have, yes. Shook his hand.
Yeah, met him, shook his hand.
On one of the Beatles days.
Beatlefest, wasn't it?
Beatlefest
Yeah,
in Liverpool. Quite a few years ago.
Didn't he say, what was it, get out my way, something like that?
No, he didn't say anything like that.
Who the hell are you?
No.
No,
Just
but
smiled and shook me hand.
We were in Matthew Street, weren't we? Because I think I'd seen him playing.
Yeah, we'd seen him playing. And then he went up to the gallery, the photograph gallery.
That's right, because Klaus Vormann
the
stuff
Beatles
was
shop,
going on.
I think it was.
And you got a Klaus Vormann
signed poster, I
Yeah.
have.
So you never met Klaus? Or did you just buy
Yes,
his
he
stuff?
was there, yes, yeah.
That's
He was actually talking on the phone when he signed my poster. So I never spoke to him properly because he was on the phone while he was doing it, but I paid him the money.
Did he say get out of my way as well?
No. How dare you?
I'm in this phone box.
I'm a very revered
I'm in this
person
phone
in
box.
this
Get out. My sister's met Paul McCartney.
Has she?
Yeah, she didn't know she'd met Paul McCartney.
Ah.
She's worked in an office in a place called Heswell, and she was a typist at the time. She's something else now, but
Well, she's an even better typist.
she's
something
finished,
else now.
She's finished that letter
Oh.
and she's quit.
Right.
And he just popped in. He was looking for one of his mates who ran the place they were at.
Ah.
And Paul lives in Heswell when he's up hereabouts. And he just popped in, and her friend said that was Paul McCartney.
Ah.
Who knew? We've seen Mike McCartney around.
I've seen Mike McCartney numerous
You
times.
trip over him all over the place around here.
Yep.
I've seen him getting petrol at the petrol station. We've bumped into him a couple of gigs, haven't we? So we've seen Neil Innes and met him there. And we've seen him at the Philharmonic.
We
and
have.
The Bonzo Dog Doodah band run.
Yep.
And that was weird enough.
Along with John Gorman from The Scaffold as well.
Yeah, I sat next to him on a train.
Ah.
And my friend Mo, old workmate of mine, she was at the Cavern a fair bit, and she was on okay terms with George Harrison, but she said she didn't like John Lennon. She had one of the seats at the front, and she used to go to the gigs a lot. And I said, well, what were they all like as people? You know, not musicians. So, George was great. He'd always ask you how your day was and carry on with stuff. But John Lennon walked right past you, and it turned out he just couldn't see you because he was bloody blind.
Yeah, because you have to wear glasses.
And you don't argue with him.
No.
So, he said, harder nut to crack. George and Paul, all lovely and wonderful. And she knew Pete best as well. My mate Vicky is the daughter of Jackie Lomax. And Jackie Lomax was a Apple recording musician.
Correct.
And he was in the Undertaker's rock band. And he played in Hamburg. And an interesting fact about Jackie Lomax is he dated Astrid Kircher after Stuart Sutcliffe died. And he was in Hamburg and stuff, and he went out with her, and don't think they got round to do anything romantic because she married a guy called Gibson Kemp after that. But Jackie Lomax, and I've met him once, and for some reason he was one of them guys who will always wear cowboy hats and cowboy stuff and dangly jackets and stuff. And I thought, oh, he's a character, he's a proper character. But my mate Vicky runs a website now for Jackie Lomax because the connection with Jackie Lomax was through George Harrison. And around the time George Harrison was doing Over the Mersey Wall and a few records like that, Jackie Lomax was recording his stuff, and he sang a George Harrison composition called Sour Milk Sea.
Yes.
And on that song was George Harrison, Ringo, Paul, and Eric Clapton. And they're all playing in the music behind Jackie Lomax. So there's a hell of a connection, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I quite like that one. And what else do we know?
My wife, her uncle, now sadly gone, was in a group called the Mojos, and they played the Cavern the same time the Beatles played. His name was John Conrad with a K. So that's my connection through my wife's part of the family. Otherwise, my mum has met Derek Taylor.
Yeah.
When Derek Taylor used to work for the West Kirby and Hoylake Advertiser on the Wirral. And my mum used to work in the newsagents across the road from the newspaper office, and only a local paper. And Derek Taylor used to come in and ask for one cigarette at a time.
A Lucy.
Yeah. Because that's all he could afford. Just give us one. And my mum sold him a cigarette.
A Lucy. Got a Lucy. Aye. Yeah, that's right. You could in your time, couldn't you? So,
no connection with Ringo Starr. I can't.
No, I can't
nothing
seem
like
to.
that.
I can't seem to pull that one out the hat.
Or John Lennon.
I did see. I was up Matthew Street. Oh, very long time back now. A couple of things with Matthew Street is that was where my club was. There was the Cavern for the people in the 60s, but when I was old enough, I went to the club opposite it called Eric's.
You did?
And where there so many a band, and I used to park my car where the Cavern was. On top of it, just a pile of bricks by then.
Yeah, because it was moved.
It was bloody demolished, that's what it was.
Because they had to build an air...
It was an air
conditioning
vent.
air vent, that's the word, for the Underground Railway, which was getting built.
Well,
so they moved the Cavern.
The sad story about that was the British Railway Company, who wanted to put a vent just in that spot. They said, we want to put this thing in this spot, as we're having a compulsory purchase order of that land. And that meant that the Cavern had to go.
Aye.
And the answer to that was it didn't have to go.
Didn't have to go.
For 500 quid.
They didn't need it.
They didn't need it, and they could have left it, and it would have been a treasure. So sadly, Matthew Street lost the Cavern, but I gained a car park space.
Yeah.
And my gig of choice always was Eric's, because I used to go with a girl mate. And you could go and see The Police for 60 pence and all these other bands that made it big in the 80s and 90s. And
I never went.
It's a marvellous place, just like the Cavern. Dark, deep, wet, damp, smelly. Toilets were awful, but it was great. And that was it for me. That was my version of the cavern, and I thought I am enjoying myself, I think. And they sold ale in there, strangely enough. In the cavern, they never sold ale.
No.
Until Mr. Geegan came, Alf Geegan, who bought the cavern off Ralph McFall, and he got a license to sell alcohol. That was about 66, 67, 68. And then he quit. But up Matthew Street, I did two things up there. I saw Louise Harrison when she was doing an interview for a TV station. I think George Harrison's eldest sister. She was mostly living in America at the time. She'd come over to do something for the Beatles channel or something related to the Beatles. And she came and did an interview, and I gave it a wave. And she waved back. Other than that, I think... that was more or less, that was me done, I think, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Our little connections and our little bits that we know of to do with the Beatles that we're connected with in a very, 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 very loose way.
If at first you don't succeed, then join the rest of us on the Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col.
Well, once again, hello everyone. It's Beatleplaces Podcast with dear old Mark and lovely old Col here.
Especially, aye.
So, would you like another couple of questions before we wrap things up, mate?
Go on then.
Okay.
I'll dig a couple out.
All right.
While you're
okay.
giving
A battle
question.
of wits, no less. A battle of wits.
It's getting
We'll give you.
exciting now.
I'll give you 3 questions. You've got to give me 3 questions. We'll see who wins this one.
Right. I've got to find the questions first.
That would help. I've got to come up with something equally awful.
Go on then.
Okay, Beatle wives.
Oh.
Beatle wives.
Right.
You might have to put your brain in for this one.
Oh no.
Right.
No.
What was Linda McCartney's previous married name?
Eastman. Was it?
Is the wrong answer. Previous married name, she married a geologist guy, and his name was John Melville. C, as in I can see for miles. S-E-E. So her real name, her married name before Paul married her, was Linda C. Yeah, strange but true.
Well.
All right,
Go on then.
Test you on this one. Question 2. How many times did Cynthia Lennon marry?
I would say...
Give us the names to go with the marriages. And then I want the blood types, and then I want another shoe size.
The height, right. Well, John Lennon. And that's about as far as you'll get with me, really.
Come on, you can do better. Come on, I know you can.
I can't.
Oh, okay.
No, just holding me up against the wall with that knife in your hand. I can't. No more. Sorry.
Cynthia Lennon married 4 times. 4 times. She married John Lennon. She married a restaurateur called Robert Bassanini. He was a kind of a hotel chain guy. She married a businessman called John Twist. And she finally married a man called, I think his name was Neil or Neville Charles. I might even get the first name wrong, but his name was Charles. Anyway, 4 men, 4 marriages, and a long life. Cynthia Lennon married 4 times. Okay.
4 times, whoa.
Another tester, last one from me.
Right.
And then you can test myself. What was Yoko's previous married name?
Oh, I
She
forgot.
was married before.
Yes, I know that.
And she was married to somebody else. And it wasn't John Lennon.
No.
And she stopped being married to him when she married John Lennon. They're the clues.
I've forgotten.
Well, give you another clue. He was an artist. Just like herself. Avant-garde artist.
Apart from Picasso, which it wasn't.
He was. No, he was busy that
Or
day.
Vincent van Gogh. No. I'm afraid not.
It was, and I couldn't tell you his nationality. His name was Anthony Cox.
Ah.
and I think he was British. So that's why she was in Britain being an artist herself. She married a British artist, Anthony Cox.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
Right. Here's something for you now.
Oh, thank you. Is it a Christmas present early?
It could be. Name the tramp steamer that did day trips from Liverpool to Wales that Ringo used to work on.
I've seen a poster for it. It's if you go through James Street Station in Liverpool, big poster for it because it was uncovered. And it's ancient, and Ringo was working on that ship as a bar steward.
He was.
And he just served drinks, and he didn't last very long. But it was one of those things where he worked there a couple of weeks, and he could always tell girls that he was a sailor. And he played up on that, so it was all wrong because obviously it wasn't. But it went to Wales every day, Menai Straits, Anglesey, places like that. It was called the SS Tudno.
It was.
I hope so, anyway.
Aye.
Tudno.
It was, indeed. Name the boat that the Beatles used to play on.
Oh.
That floated up and down the Mersey.
We've been on this. We did a thing years ago, didn't we?
We did, indeed.
We've been on this for a gig. And I did a thing on my Instagram page last week, because it was the MV Royal Iris.
It was the Royal Iris. Well done. Excellent.
And all the facts I can remember from last week's Instagram was it had two ladies' toilets and one male toilet. And it was called a fish and chip boat.
Yep.
And they served the chips way down in the bottom. And that smell of chips coming to the top, because the gig itself was in the top deck, and the food was in the bottom deck, and the drunks were all in between, and people were all going and falling off, and falling in, falling over.
Especially on a when the river was a bit turbulent, it used to rock from side to side, and many people were rather sick.
Most of the time, you're on the Mersey ferry, and it's 10 minutes, and you're off.
Yeah.
You cross the water, and you're off. But on the Royal Iris, a couple of hours, wasn't it?
Yeah. Right. Here's another thing about Ringo.
Oh.
What was Ringo's father's occupation?
His dad was called Richard Henry Starkey, and he was a cake maker, a confectioner.
Aye.
And he worked in a shop called Cooper's.
That's it.
Which is in town. It's opposite the McDonald's in town still, but it's not called Cooper's anymore.
It isn't.
And he met his wife Elsie there, because she was I think she put the sort of currants in the buns or something like that. I can't remember. Something like that. But he met there.
Finally, what school did Ringo go to? The secondary school? There
was two he went to, and one was the primary school you don't want the answer for, but I'll tell you anyway. He went to St. Silas Primary School, infant school, and then when he was old enough, 11ish, and he was well enough because he was a very poorly lad, he went to Dingle Vale.
It was
called Dingle Vale, yeah.
Yep.
So in Dingle, and hereby ended the sermon.
Aye, yes, well done, amen, and everything else. And it's time to draw the curtains on this particular episode of Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark
and
Col. Excellent. Thank you for the and.
Yes.
Well, should we do the same again next week, or the week after, or the week after that?
When we're both available. I think if we're not here,
tomorrow,
not much will happen. So
thank you, everybody, for listening.
Yes, much appreciated.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, and any comments, by all means, leave something on the Instagram account for Beatleplaces Podcast. There's loads of stuff in the Beatleplaces book. There's also the Beatleplaces quiz book. Mark is available for parties and bar mitzvahs, and I'm there just in case you need me anyway.
I'm also pretty good at ironing. So if you want something ironing, I'm your man.
Oh, yeah. A couple of shirts.
Shirts.
Couple of shirts.
Yeah.
So we're done.
I'll go and should I put the kettle on now? Do you want a cup of tea, and we can
tidy up.
We can go and get me.
Why not?
Get me suit on.
Yeah,
because it's time. It's getting a bit late now. I'll have to go.
Where is your duffel coat?
Oh, it's just I'll go and get it now.
And my scarf. Don't take my scarf.
Oh dear. Yeah. I'm getting a bit of a cough as well.
You need a bobble hat.
Well, try then. Bye. See you next week.
Ahem. Thanks for listening to the Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col. We hope to see you again real soon, and don't forget to visit the gift shop on the way out.